Breaking news about another one of Donald Trump's critics and perceived enemies being targeted today, this afternoon, right now, for criminal prosecution. Two people familiar with the proceedings telling MSNBC that acting U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan has presented evidence to bring criminal charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James to a grand jury. Sources telling MSNBC that the office is currently awaiting the grand jury's decision on whether or not to indict James on charges of mortgage fraud. Attorney General Tish James has been a target of Donald Trump's attacks for many years. She was singled out by Donald Trump most recently in a September 20th Truth Social post, along with former FBI Director Jim Comey. 5 days later, Comey was indicted by this same office. On Monday, MSNBC reported that a top prosecutor in Halligan's office in Virginia believed that there was no probable cause to indict James on mortgage fraud charges. The breaking news on the targeting for prosecution of another perceived enemy of Donald Trump, the elected Attorney General of New York State, is where we start today. Here with me at the table for the hour, former top official you're not at the table with me for the hour, Andrew Weissmann. I wish you were, but joining us, Andrew Weissmann, also joining us, former CIA director, now MSNBC senior national security analyst, John Brennan's here, and with me at the table for the hour, voting rights attorney and founder of Democracy Docket, Mark Elias is here.
I'm a poor man.
We all are. We all are. I think Carol Leonnig has made her way back to a camera. Carol Leonnig is my colleague, the journalist that broke this story. Carol Leonnig, tell us what you're learning.
As I said to my colleagues here at MSNBC, this bouncing ball is like the fastest bouncing ball ever. We've been monitoring this ever since we reported that a senior supervisor concluded there was no probable cause to bring this case to a grand jury, one of the lowest thresholds the Department of Justice has to meet. And instead, Lindsay Halligan, the interim U.S. attorney we heard today, had presented the evidence that she believes could lead to indicting Letitia James today in a courtroom in Alexandria. We now have multiple sources telling us that Halligan presented this evidence, and we are now waiting, as our prosecutors in the Eastern District, to hear if the grand jury has decided to agree with those charges of mortgage fraud involving the New York Attorney General.
Carol, if you don't know the answers to any of these questions, just brush me off here. But do we believe, as with last time, Lindsay Halligan defied the prosecutorial judgment of prosecutors in that office and instead went with Donald Trump's social media directives? Do we believe that she again went alone into the grand jury to present whatever evidence she thinks she has?
An awesome question, Nicole. From one court nerd to another, it's a great question, and the answer is complicated. We have a source who says that she made this presentation alone. We have others who say that there was another assistant U.S. attorney in the room, but not necessarily presenting. So I say that with a little bit of a caveat. You asked earlier if she was essentially defying the office. Remember, this case was in Norfolk. That is where the home is at the center. Letitia James's niece's home is in Norfolk, and that's where this case was based. But when that supervisor looked at all the facts and said, I don't think there's probable cause, and I'm going to let the U.S. attorney know that, Lindsay Halligan made a change of plans and presented in Alexandria. It has been really interesting to watch how much this case has moved. Remember, a U.S. attorney was essentially forced to resign under pressure, Eric Siebert, when he also concluded on September 19th that there was not sufficient evidence to bring this case. Another supervisor we reported then in Norfolk said this is not a worthy case. It's not a righteous case. The facts do not stack up for claiming that Letitia James had any criminal intent to defraud a mortgage broker, a bank, or say anything inaccurate in her loan applications for her niece's home. And now we have the interim U.S. attorney chosen by Donald Trump when he was pressing for this prosecution, is actually pressing forward and doing just exactly what Donald Trump asked.
What is the likelihood of hearing one way or another in the next hour? I mean, are these decisions that are made the day or in the hours after the evidence is presented?
Also a good question. The returns are normally, forgive me for lapsing into grand jury speak, grand jury decisions are typically in this courthouse in Alexandria returned to the court clerk around 4 o'clock or sometime after that period. You'll remember when former FBI Director James Comey was indicted, the returns in the same courtroom came back in the 5 o'clock hour. So we'll see.
Carol, one of the arguments that Pat Fitzgerald made, Jim Comey's defense attorney, an iconic figure, as you know better than anybody in legal circles, and a sort of a hero of SDNY, was that Halligan was not, was not a legally appointed or a legally acting U.S. attorney. Has that question been resolved or adjudicated?
No. Pat Fitzgerald raised it the other day in the Comey hearing, the first appearance for the former FBI director on charges of lying to Congress and obstruction. And it is something I know lawyers all over this territory, shall we say, are watching keenly, because the interim appointment is a karate chop to a case if the defense is successful in making the claim, the case gets tossed. And that may work for Pat Fitzgerald, and it may also work for Letitia James's defense lawyer, Abbe Lowell, if Halligan was the person who signed this indictment. I mean, those are legal matters to be wrangled with by a court, but I know it is one of the most devastating attacks that the defense could make on this case, because the whole thing could be thrown out solely on that basis.
Carol, let me ask you, and if you need to go and do more reporting, you just tell me. The case was examined by Trump appointees. He's been there 9 months. And so people who agree with Donald Trump and who are sympathetic to his deep emotional whatever we're talking about and desire for revenge, wherever that is born out of. These are Team Trump people. These are political appointees who looked at the case and said there is not enough evidence to prevail in court. Will you take us through the facts as you understand them and through the eyes of the Trump ally prosecutor who said there's no case here?
Of course. So I think at the base, what's really important for viewers to keep in mind is that the Justice Department, over the last 8 decades, has had an extremely rigorous standard for when they try to even ask a grand jury to indict. Whenever they present evidence to a grand jury and say, we think this is worth possible charges, what do you think? The rigorous standard is, do we believe we'll be able to sustain a conviction? Do we believe this is important in the public interest to bring this case? And another critical element, especially in the allegations that swirled around Letitia James, is the issue of intent. Was there criminal intent to defraud a bank? And the evidence thus far that we have reviewed and that her defense lawyer has presented publicly and to Attorney General Pam Bondi is as follows: that there was a form, a power of attorney form, in which inaccurately there was a box checked essentially, that indicated this was a primary residence. Letitia James was helping her niece buy a home in Norfolk, Virginia, and that box was a mistake, allegedly, according to her defense lawyer. Additional documentation in the course of financing this home shows Letitia James in her own writing saying, this will not be my primary home. This is not my primary residence. This is my niece's home. And I'm paraphrasing a little, but I think in all caps, she essentially said, not my primary residence. In another part of the bank application, Letitia James, again, marked no when asked in her own check writing, is this going to be your primary residence? So One fatal problem with this case, as the evidence we've reviewed is, and I'm not a lawyer, but I know this much, it's going to be hard to show that Letitia James intended to defraud anyone if she went out of her way to say, this is not my primary residence.
Yeah.